Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, KCA members.
Good evening.
Over the past two over the past 2 years, even with COVID, my committee and I have worked hard towards providing our members with a number of interesting activities. And this commitment continues. We now have this wonderful overseas trip to Turkey planned all for you at a special discounted rate. I'm sure you are as excited as I am. The trip cost includes everything from airfare to a dinner cruise down the Bosphorus, five-star accommodation, all three meals, airport transfers, an English speaking guide, among many other things. After careful evaluation and looking at the safety needs of our members, we have decided to go with tried and tested Thomas Cook. Please join me in welcoming Anup and Monica from Thomas Cook. They will answer your queries regarding the tour. Thank you. Over to Shanti. Shanti, can you just introduce Monica and Anup from Thomas Cook?
Sorry, I have to unmute myself. So thank you, Hilma. So we are really happy to be partnering with Thomas Cook, which is a well-known brand in the travel industry. So we are very excited at the agenda that they have drawn up for us. So without wasting time, let me introduce you to Anup D'Souza. I've been told that he's the business partner with Thomas Cook. He has the Koramangala Thomas Cook branch. And we also have Monica Sharma. She's the senior manager with Thomas Cook. And we have Sweeten De Mello. I hope he has joined us, who is a senior tour manager with Thomas. So the agenda will be that Sweeten De Mello will now do a small presentation where he will take us through what we are going to be doing on this trip to Turkey. So Sweeten, you can start, and after that we will have question and answers regarding the visas, and Monica and Anup D'Souza will take over that part of the session on this call. So Sweeten, over to you.
Okay, hello, hi. I hope I'm audible. I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yeah, yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what I'll basically do here is I'll just run through an itinerary as to how this tour would actually operate on the road. So you have an idea as to how things will be going on the road. So if you have any other questions, you can either park it for later or you can even ask me while I'm going through with the itinerary. So flights, I believe Monica probably must have already spoken to you all about, or we will discuss about that even later. So I'll take it from the day that we land in Istanbul. So the day one, when you actually land into Istanbul, you will be spending one night in Istanbul. Initially, you will not really be doing the Istanbul part because you're doing it later because you'll be ending the tour again in Istanbul. So day one, you will land into Istanbul, considering whatever time we are landing, and we'll head to the hotel. We will check in, and probably once we've checked in, and in the evening, we'll go out to the city center of Istanbul, where we'll have an Indian meal. We'll be having a dinner in a restaurant. And since the restaurant is going to be located near a very prominent place called Taksim Square, that's like the main square or the main city center. It's a huge, lovely place. So we'll be giving you all some free time. You can walk around, take pictures, and just to get a feel of how Istanbul really looks like. You'll get a feel over there. Also, there's a street called Istiklal Street, which is a shopping street. In case you want to just walk around or shop, and then later on we'll come back to the hotel. That will be your day one, and that's your first night in Istanbul. Day two, you will actually check out. Like I said, Istanbul, you will be covering as a city, you will be covering at the end of the tour. So this is the day you're entering into Istanbul. So first night, you'll be visiting Taksim Square, the main square, with followed by dinner. Next day, you will actually check out of the hotel and proceed towards the city called Kusadasi. This is a drive should take about 6.5 hours, but we would obviously be taking a couple of stops here in between. So there'll be a rest stop, like a comfort stop, where roughly about every 2 hours we stop, where you can probably have a coffee or something, or you want to use the restrooms, followed by again a lunch stop, and by evening you will be in Kusadasi. So on this evening, if we are well in time, then we'll be visiting the city center. You'll be getting some free time to walk around and explore the city center, and then you'll be staying back. You'll be staying here actually for 2 nights. Day two in Kusadasi, day three of the tour. But day two in Kusadasi, you will actually, after breakfast, we'll head for a city tour of this place. You'll kind of do a little bit of orientation here, and then you will be visiting the ruins of Ephesus, which is the reason why we actually come here. It's one of the best ruins, probably one of the top ruins in the world, where people actually have always have this on, you could say, their bucket list. Those who like to visit different ruins or historic sites. So beautifully maintained place. So once we get there, I forgot to mention, I think it was already told you that there will be an English speaking guide with you all, and also a tour manager. So this guide is basically going to take you around and walk you through this entire city of Ephesus. You'll There'll be a lot of photo stops. So he'll be talking about these places. He'll be explaining you. Then you can take pictures, all of that, and it's a lovely tour. It goes for almost about 3 hours, followed by a lunch break. You would have a lunch. So once we leave, actually, I'll just point on something here. That is, once we leave Istanbul, we would only have Indian meals in Cappadocia. So there are only two cities where we can actually have Indian meals, because the other places they do not have Indian restaurants at all. So we will be having a local meal here again, and then followed by visiting a place called the House of Mother Mary, uh, which is said, it's said that this is where Mother Mary actually lived the rest of her life. Okay, so we'll be actually visiting that place, then followed by some free time in the city, dinner, and you'll be back to the hotel. So this will be your day three. So basically, 2 nights in Kusadasi. The next day you will check out and you proceed towards Pamukkale. So Pamukkale is obviously known for this cotton castle, or what you can call as this beautiful natural wonder, where you see this salt mine which is created, and if you must have gone through the pictures, you must have seen how beautiful it looks. It's one of the biggest in the world and one of the most scenic in the world. So we'll be heading there. This is just about a 3 hours drive. So you actually reach there by lunchtime. So you have your breakfast. Peacefully, you will be leaving only by around 9 comfortably. And we'll take a short break in between. And by lunchtime, you'll already be in Pamukkale. Once you get there, you'll have your lunch and we'll check in into the hotel. After you freshen up, and then you can wear like probably a short or three-fourth kind of clothes, or something comfortable, because you can actually walk into the waters of this cotton castle, what you call the salt and the minerals, where you see in those water small pools. You can actually walk there. You can probably, if you want, you can even like lie down in the water. You can like dip yourself entirely. It is said to be healing. It heals your skin and all. So it's an experience. So we will be going there. We will spend almost like the remaining half of the day will be here. And along with that, there's also just next to this cotton castle is the city of Hierapolis, where there's a huge site again, a very historic site, and ruins of a old city. So it's at the same location. So you can also visit there. The guide will take you around, give you all some information about those places. Then in the evening, you come back to our hotel, and in our hotel itself is a mud pool where you can actually take a dip into. You can go into the mud pool, and of course, it is said that that the mud there is good for your skin, and it heals your, if you have any infections and all. So you can take, since it is a natural thing which is in the hotel. So this hotel has this natural, what can you call it? It's like water pumping out, and this is real soil which you can actually go and take a dip into. So that's one of the reasons why we choose this hotel, because not all the hotels have this real mud pool. Since we are in Cappadocia, in Pamukkale, mainly to visit this site. So, and this site can be visited in half a day. So we don't really spend 2 nights here because there's nothing else to see in this place. It's as good as like a small town. This is the highlight, the Cotton Castle. So once we're done with that, the next day we will check out. So we are staying 1 night in Pamukkale. We are heading to the next day. We are heading to Cappadocia, where we will be spending 2 nights. The next day to Cappadocia is a little longer drive. It's roughly about 8 hours to 10 hours of drive. Of course, we would be taking stops. Just in case you might wonder as to why we are not taking a flight on this drive instead of taking a flight while we're driving down. So Pamukkale, like there is a very small town where there's just one airport and they do not have any direct flights going to Cappadocia. So if you had to take a flight, then you would have to actually go by. The flight would ideally fly from there to Istanbul, and then you will again have a couple of hours halt, and then again you will fly to Cappadocia. So it's again going to take 6 to 8 hours any which way. So there's very few flights, and it's very difficult to get a flight for a group as well. That's one of the reasons we always drive down from Cappadocia, from Pamukkale to Cappadocia. Once we get to Cappadocia this evening, there could be a choice of visiting certain places which the tour manager would inform you in case if you all are interested. If you're not, it's still a good evening. We go there. We have an Indian restaurant there. We'll do a drive around in the city. You get to see the city in the night. And then you will be staying in, Monica, if I'm not mistaken, they will be staying in a cave hotel, right?
Yes, Vitan.
Yeah, so just in case you've not seen any pictures of Cappadocia, it's truly a magnificent city. And when you take a look at the pictures, or if you just see those pictures, you'll know that there's this rock formation, which is a natural rock formation, and they've kind of carved out hotel rooms in this rocks. So that's one of the very famous thing, or you could say something that's like a highlight. So you'll actually be staying in a cave hotel, which is a naturally cave in which they have kind of made these rooms available. You would be here in Cappadocia for 2 nights. So the next day is an entire day exploring Cappadocia, various places. The very first being the Goremi Open Air Museum, where there are a number of small churches, like chapels, you could say, which were carved out of this stone itself. So that is one place which is an open air museum. Apart from that, you'll be visiting various other valleys like the Devon Valley, the Pigeon Valley. The whole look of the city itself is so beautiful when you're driving around. You also see one of the highest point there, which is the Usha Castle, where you will go nearby. You will be taking photo stop. Along with that, the famous pottery, which comes from the Red River there. So you'll actually visit the pottery, which again is inside a cave. So you'll actually go inside the cave and you will see the art of pottery making and how it's done. One of you might even get a chance to sit there and probably one pot or something. They generally call upon one person, and then you can actually see how for over hundreds of years have they been making this pottery. So you will get to experience that as well. And here you also have a chance to do the hot air balloon, which of course the tour manager or maybe Monica would speak to you later, which is very famous. If you want to do the hot air balloon here, that could be decided on the tour itself. So on the tour, you can decide, maybe the tour manager also will share a little more information about how it operates and how the whole process takes place. But it's one of the top rated things in Cappadocia. So in case if you want to do the hot air balloon experience, this is where you can do it. It is an optional, so you can choose to do that here. And after this entire day in Cappadocia, then in the evening you'll again have an Indian dinner. So this is the other city. So only two cities where you actually have Indian restaurants. One was Istanbul and Cappadocia. So the second day you will have your dinner again in Cappadocia. And now from Cappadocia, you will fly for your last 2 nights. You will be taking a flight from Cappadocia to get to Istanbul, from where you actually started the tour. And this is where you will be actually visiting Istanbul. So the day we land into Istanbul, we will start visiting the various places and various things that we have on the itinerary. So it may not go as per exactly as per the paper, because however it suits and whatever is best, we will decide on ground. Like uh, couple of things which I'll just mention to you, like there's this Grand Bazaar, which is one of the oldest bazaars in the world. Then there's Spice Bazaar. Then there's the Hippodrome. There's the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, which was once a church. Then it was again converted into a mosque. Then again later into a museum, and now it is into a mosque. So it's one of the most famous sites. Yeah? The view of the Golden Horn. So, and you also have a boat ride on the Bosphorus River. There's also visit to a Dolma Palace, which is like a which is a palace where the kings there, the Mughals, their kings would actually live, and they've maintained it just the way it was when they used to live. So a lot of things that I would say everything that you need to see in Istanbul is included, right? From the Blue Mosque to the Hagia Sophia to the Spice Bazaar, the Grand Bazaar, the Dolmabahce Palace, the Bosphorus cruise, and all of this with a guide who would be speaking English and with a tour manager who will be managing all the time. So there's nothing like you are being rushed somewhere or you have to walk a lot, nothing of that sort. So very well managed as per timing also, and keeping your comfort in mind. And yeah, so that's how your tour will be. So the day you land in Istanbul, that evening, depending on how much time we have, we might do the cruise on that evening, which is the dinner cruise, and we might even do the Dolmabahce Palace. Then we will check in, and then the next day we'll do this entire city tour where you visit the Blue Mosque, the Hagia Sophia, and all the other various sightseeings that we have. So that's how your second day will be placed. So you will be covering almost everything in Istanbul, and that's your eighth night. And the last day, you will basically check out post your breakfast. We'll check out. I think generally it is around 11 o'clock that you will depart and head to the airport. So that's how your tour is placed, or that's how the itinerary is. I'll just quickly run through again. You will land into Istanbul. One night you will stay in Istanbul. The next day you will drive to Kusadasi. You will spend 2 nights in Kusadasi. After which you will drive to Pamukkale. You will spend one night in Pamukkale. After which you will drive to Cappadocia, where you will spend 2 nights in Cappadocia, and then you will fly. You will not drive. You will be flying from Cappadocia to get to Istanbul, where you started from, and then you will be spending your 2 nights in Istanbul. That's your 8 nights. So you'll basically end up spending 3 nights in Istanbul, and then two in Kusadasi, one in Pamukkale, and two in Cappadocia. That's how your tour is going to be. So all your lunches, your breakfast, lunch, and dinners are included on the tour. And of course, I believe you will also be provided with water bottles. I think all of that maybe is already discussed or yet will be discussed further after I think Monica would take over. In case if you have any questions, you can just go ahead, shoot, or
Yeah.
you can park it for later.
So, Sweeten, thanks so much for running us through the agenda. Uh, for those who have joined the call, if you have any questions regarding the agenda, please, in Istanbul, please, state your queries right now, whatever you
Sweden,
want
I
to
have a
ask.
question. My name is Adrian. My
Yes, sir.
question to you is, we will be a group of about 40, maybe 45 people, some of
All right.
whom will be seniors. So
All right.
what facilities are there for seniors? Are there any facilities for seniors? Maybe they would need a walking chair or some help. Do you have any
So,
facilities on that?
uh, to be honest, most of the tours that we do, not only in Istanbul, but most of the tours that we do in around the world, we have a lot of senior citizens. Almost all tours have a lot of senior citizens, and as a tour manager and a guide, also we take care of them. Coming to the point where would they need a wheelchair in case they need a wheelchair here in India, and you think they will definitely be needing it over there, then we'll have to make a provision for that. But otherwise, the tours are very comfortably placed. So, like we have a wake up call at 9, then we get onto the bus, we take a washroom stop, the sightseeing wherever it is. If some we as a tour manager, I know that if this is going to take long, if it's going to be over a 1 hour walk or something, then I inform the person that it is going to be a little bit of a walk. So probably you can remain seated here. When we cover all of that and come back, you can again join us. Certain places like Pamukkale, there is a rental car, like a battery operated kind of a vehicle where 4 people or 6 people can sit in. You can hire that. But in Kusarasi, where you are visiting the ruins, unfortunately, there is no provision for like a wheelchair or something. That is one place because there's continuous ups and downs, so it's not really feasible. They do not have any provision there. But in Pamukkale, yes, they have. In Cappadocia, you do not need one because you'll be getting off the bus, you'll be walking just a couple of minutes, the sightseeing. So it's overall, I would say it's a comfortable place. If a person is comfortable walking, he will definitely manage this tour, except for Kusadasi, wherein it's a little bit of a walk, where the tour manager will, if you just inform the tour manager that I will not be able to walk, this is a journey where I will not be able to make it, the tour manager will suggest him something and will make arrangements for them.
My
Sweden, what
next
is the weather
question.
like the first week of October?
October would October wouldn't be that cold. Actually, I've not been in October. I think it will only start getting colder from November onwards. But October, I think, is going to be pleasant, but still cold, definitely cold towards
Okay.
Cappadocia and all. I will have to check that.
Yeah.
I don't just want to give a vague answer, but it will definitely be cold towards Cappadocia and Istanbul. I'll just make a note of, yeah. Yes, sir,
What is the
please go ahead.
preferred what is the preferred dress code? Can we travel around in Turkey, for example? It's a Muslim country, but is there a dress code?
Absolutely not. Like it's once you're there, you'll feel like you're in Europe. It from no angle does that country look like it's a Islamic country. So everyone's dressed really comfortably, like jeans, and in the summers you'll feel like you'll not feel like you're in Islamic country at all. So that country is pretty open. Pretty open means it's just like any European nation.
Coming to food, since we're all
Yeah,
Mangalorians, we
yeah.
like to eat, drink, and be merry. So, is there pork on the menu? What about alcohol?
So Uh, as far as I know, when we plan our meals, we do not include alcoholic drinks. We do not include because that's something which not everyone would want to have. Maybe there's a group of 40, maybe there's just 20 people who want to have alcohol. So we generally do not include it in the package. But you can always buy one something like drinks from the restaurant where you're having your meals. So pork is something I have not seen in many places in Istanbul, though. But they have like beef a lot. They eat beef. They eat a lot of lamb. They eat chicken, of course, but a lot of lamb, beef, and chicken.
Thanks, Sweden. Anyone
So
else
liquor,
with any
in case
queries?
if you're, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking people if they
I think
have any other queries. Yeah, please
Mr.
continue,
James
Sweden.
would like to ask. I think he needs to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. James, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Mr. James.
We cannot hear you. You'll have to unmute. Or you can type in your message on the chat box.
Sweeten, while she is busy, I need one more
Yes,
clarification. You mentioned that
yes, sir.
we have two Indian restaurants that we will be attending. We, as a group, would prefer to have Turkish
So,
food. Is this an option we can
okay.
change when we get there with the tour manager, or is it something that is fixed? Because
So,
we would prefer all Indian meals.
if you, okay, so what I was trying to actually tell is in Istanbul, there are two cities where we have Indian restaurants. So there is, I was talking about Istanbul and Cappadocia. These are two cities where we have Indian restaurants. The other two places, that is Pamukkale and Usadasi, there are no Indian restaurants at all in, and their food, we generally have a buffet there. So even when we're having the local food, they have a buffet. And most of the places it can get, if you're not opting for an Indian meal, then what's going to happen is the food will get very repetitive. If you don't, and you might end up craving for Indian food, is what I personally feel. Because even when I'm a non-vegetarian, I always eat non-veg. But when I eat their buffets and all, I'm okay with eating for a couple of days. But then when I reach Cappadocia, I'm happy to have Indian food. That may not be the case with you. I'll not say anything about that. But I think you should go with the Indian restaurants in India, because they are not throughout the tour. There are many days when you will get to enjoy their local meal, and then you might want to eat Indian when after that. After about 4 5, there are about 4 to 5 days when you're not getting Indian food at all. You're only having their meal. But if you insist, we can make changes and keep local. If
I
you all,
think
as collectively, if you all insist,
I
we
think
can make changes.
one or two Indian meals are more than enough. More than that, again to eat, you go all the way there, and that's
So,
why.
Sweden, as of now, Sweden, it's all local meals that we have asked for. I mean, just
Okay, so if you all want, I think we can look at that. Monica, would you want to just add something to this?
Yeah, so if we'll have to prefix the meals here itself. If it has to be local throughout, we'll have to instruct them. Go because they will do generally the arrangements for the group accordingly because it's a bigger group. If it is small set of people, then it is fine. So that we can decide maybe closer to the departure also, like around 20 days prior, and we'll have to update the back-end team according to which type of meal would we prefer on the tour.
Okay.
So I would suggest let it come as a collective decision from all of you. Let's say if you're of 40, at least 35, 40 of you, if you all decide on one thing and you all say, okay, these are the days, like these are the amount of Indian meals we want, only 4, only 3, then we can probably, change the menus for you and keep the other locals. So
Yes,
like Monica
yes.
said, yes.
You said there are only 2 places where Indian meals are offered, right?
2 cities.
Istanbul and
Out of the
Cappadocia.
4 cities that you visit, there are 2 cities, which is one is Istanbul, is one city where you are spending like 3 nights, and then there is Cappadocia, we are spending 2 nights. The remaining 3 nights, so which means 6 meals you will be having locals for sure. 7 meals, I would say, at least about 7 meals. You will be having quite a few local meals, but if you all insist on having more of local, you can just put it across to Monica or the team, and we will see what we could do and try to get it local.
Yeah.
Sweden?
Yeah, thanks, Sweden.
Sweden, since we're going to be on the bus for a long time, does the bus have a refrigerator and a toilet?
The bus generally has a washroom, but like I said, we always stop every 2 hours. So, as a couple stop.
That's
And
fine. Does the bus have a refrigerator? Because we would like to carry some beers and maybe some wine with us when we travel.
I have to check that I do not think they have a refrigerator there. No, the buses that at least I went on, they did not have.
Then is it possible for Thomas Cook to provide an ice box or something?
That would be
If you have to carry some chilled beers and some soft drinks.
So we'll make a note of this, and I think one of our team will definitely get back to you on this. So we'll just make a note of this. One of this requirement of yours.
Edgar,
we
go
take
ahead.
off from Bangalore.
We'll definitely
1 minute.
work on
Go
something.
ahead.
I think Edgar, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Details. Is it right, sir?
I'm
1
unable to
minute.
hear you, sir.
Edgar, 1 minute. I just say anybody who is unable to send a message on this group
Breaking up.
phone, and I will read it.
Okay.
Edgar, speak up, Edgar. We can hear you. But speak closer to the mic.
The flight starting from Bangalore, you have boarded at Mumbai or Chennai to Istanbul. First flight.
So Bangalore.
You give them-
It's Bangalore.
Bangalore. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
okay.
The return also is the same, is it?
Like the
To Bangalore.
Yes.
It's throughout Air Arabia.
That's good. Okay.
Yes, sir. It's Air Arabia throughout.
Okay.
The
And
baggage allowance will be international, whatever is applicable.
so how many
Yes, sir.
hours is this flight, please?
So it reaches at 2:40 in the afternoon at Istanbul and flies early morning at around 3 o'clock, if I'm not wrong.
Okay, but
Let
from
me just
Bangalore to
open.
Istanbul, how many hours would that be?
So
Ideally, the
it is
whole journey
via
should
Sharjah.
be 8 hours of flying time.
Yeah.
But here
Okay,
in this case, it will be broken into two. So that.
So you will fly from Bangalore to Sharjah. That will be about three and
yeah.
a half hours. And from Sharjah to Istanbul, that's about another 6 hours max. 5 and a half hours.
Yeah,
So
about yeah.
Total about
nine
eight and a half hours of flight.
Yeah, we have to be very careful about the type of food that we are getting because you know
No, we can't hear you,
it
sir.
could it could it could backfire also. You know, sometimes hard chapati like bakris, things like that, then we'll have a tough time. We got to be careful before we decide what kind of food.
Sure.
So, Edgar, you're saying you want a little bit of Indian food. What are you saying?
No, I
Speak
think
to the mic.
no, it's not a good idea to have only local food because sometimes it's not palatable. We don't know what it's like. It may be too rich or too oily or things like that. So unless so easily, then land in trouble there. So probably one or two of days or something we can have local, but otherwise it is preferable to have more of Indian food. In case we have a bad stomach and things like that, we land in trouble there. Because we have had that experience when we have gone on other tours, and once or twice we have had a bad experiences where the local food is really not something that we like. So that we have to be a little careful before we decide whether we are going to have only local or.
Turkish food is more of grilled. Oil doesn't come there much.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to have a sample somewhere. Sample.
Good idea, Edgar.
Yeah, so they
Edgar,
have a
that's a
lot of
fantastic
veggies.
idea.
Yeah.
Edgar, that's a fantastic idea. When we have our pre-departure briefing, maybe Thomas Cook can arrange for a Turkish
Arrange for lunch.
Anup,
Arrange
make a
for
note.
lunch.
Yes, I'll be arranging.
Okay, I
And some
think
Turkish beer also will be good.
Yeah, and some.
Michelle wants to
We can
wants to ask a
add in a belly
question.
dancer there also
Yeah,
That's on the cruise.
to
I
get us
think
into the mood.
Michelle is waiting
Sweeten,
to,
can you
waiting with a
tell
query.
me something about the Cappadocia hot air
Adrian.
balloon? How do we get on?
Just
So-
make sure that fish is also included in the
So-
menu in some places.
So the Cappadocia hot air balloon, basically, it has to be informed a couple of days prior. So once you are on the tour manager will give you all a brief as to, generally it happens early morning. So you would generally be picked up from the hotel around 5 and it flies.
Oh God.
Yeah, because it's generally like you go there and you see the sunrise and then you come back. So it's kind of, you get there before the sunrise. While you are in the air, you will see the sun rising, and once the sun rises up, so approximately a 1 hour hot air balloon experience. So all in all, from the time you leave the hotel to getting back to the hotel, it's about 2.5 hours. So if you leave by around 5, you should be at the hotel maybe by around 8 o'clock again, and then you can have your breakfast, and then later by around 9:30 is when we start with the tour. So we do give you time where you can go up, freshen, have your breakfast, and then start with the tour.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
We have a
Michelle.
question
Michelle has
from
a question.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I heard about the buses. Now, we were talking about senior citizens. The number of steps to climb the bus, is it, there is this extension which comes out of the bus so they can climb easily? Or is it high steps? Just wanted to clarify on that.
So the buses can actually be lowered. So they can lower the bus. The entire bus can be lowered down. So your first step to get onto the bus can be adjusted by the driver.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's
Great.
Kavita, you're next. Your question, please.
I'm Bram talking on behalf of Kavita. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know, is the package cost same for children below 12 or minors below 18?
So for between 12 to 18, the cost remains same because they are treated as adults. For anyone below 12, we have circulated a costing already with few people. If you require the same, we'll send it across, sir.
Yeah, I totally.
There will be two costs on that. One is child with bed, one is child without bed. That's how it works. So we will have the cost given to you.
I would like to have a look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have that.
Okay, there's Sheila waiting. Sheila, what's your question, please? Sheila?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I have a question regarding the visa application. If my son is sponsoring my trip, because I'm a housewife, if my son is sponsoring my trip, what documents he has to provide?
Ma'am, so we can mail you the set of documents. Basically, it will be his financial documents and a sponsorship letter from his end stating that he's sponsoring your trip.
Okay.
And along with that, if you're holding your own bank, statement and you have credits and debits going on, it's a active bank account, then you'll have to submit that as well.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
So basically, bank account and what else is required?
Yeah, so bank statement of the traveler is mandatory, sir, if it's an active bank account.
Okay.
And if there is a sponsor, in case of especially people who are not working like housewives, then if a son is sponsoring or if husband is
That is
sponsoring,
understood. For a retired person, what he should have?
for a retired
Bank statement.
For a retired person, sir, the retirement letter if you have, or the pension pay order if you have
No,
that.
he doesn't have anything. He just retired from, doesn't have pension and all in that case.
So there should be some retirement proof if he is retired from an organization, right?
Now, if a person was outside the country, then what will happen?
Yeah.
So
This is
there
a
has to
similar.
be
3 years income tax returns good enough.
income tax returns is anyways mandatory, sir, but there has to be a proof of retirement. So there are almost every company gives you a retirement proof. If it is not there, you will have to give a self declaration stating.
Asking my question.
Hello.
No, yeah, because the people who work outside,
Yeah.
they may not have.
They will send.
Go back to the company after 5, 10,
No.
6 years to ask.
That's what Monica is saying is she needs a self-declaration letter.
Okay, that
your
can
own
be done.
self.
Yeah, that is okay.
Yeah.
Good,
So you'll have to explain that you were in the Middle East. Naturally, your passport talks about
that's
it,
fine.
and you'll have to tell them that you were.
As long as self-declaration is good enough.
Self-declaration.
Yeah. Because this was a similar question that was.
So, if you could
Anup,
send
this
us
was a
the
similar
mandatory
question.
document. One is bank statement, income tax.
Bank
Because at the
statement,
moment
income
when
tax
I was
papers
going
for
through,
last
I
3
was
years,
getting lost. So, if you send basic, important documents to be so that we can keep them ready.
Fine, we will have it soon.
Yeah.
And anyhow, if somebody has any doubt, then we will answer them through the KCA team.
Okay.
Anything required, numbers are there, as well as we can answer them also, because there may be people who will have a different set of details that they require, especially while submitting for visas. So we will answer over it individually.
Okay.
So Anup, can you just give a broad, kind of what documents are required for people who have an American
Monica would be
visa?
better at that. Monica, can you just do that?
For those who have an American, Anup, a broad explanation of people who have an American visa and for people who do not have an American visa. Can you just give a broad explanation of the documents required?
Yeah, ma'am. So people who are holding a US visa, there is no other document. Your passports will be required, the copy of your American visa, and there is a covering letter which we will need, which we will prepare at our side, and the signature will be required. Only these 3 documents, okay? That is for people who are holding a US visa because it gets applied online. So only these 3 documents are required to be uploaded on the website.
One more question. One more question. That American visa should be valid. Any validity?
Yes, it should be a valid visa, sir.
Yeah, I know, valid. But how many months? If it's getting expired?
No, nothing like that.
Huh?
It should be valid till the time you travel and come back.
That's
sir.
all. That's all. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
So American visa holder need not go for other documents. Only a copy of the visa in the passport, American visa.
Correct.
That's all.
That's all, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
There was a
So
question
no
from a
bank
retired.
statements and all are required,
No,
right?
ma'am, not required. Not required.
Got it.
Okay. So
Okay.
the bank statements and all are required only for people who don't have an American visa. Is that
Yes,
so?
correct. Correct, ma'am.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
clear.
can you,
Clear.
yeah, can you list, Monica, right now for the people who do not have an American visa? Can you list the documents required, just abroad, so that people know?
Yeah, so ma'am, the basic requirements, the basic documents required are your passport. You should have pages in that for the visa to be, pasted, the sticker visa that comes in. That is the first thing. The passport should not be damaged. It should be valid for 6 months from the date of return. Okay, that is about the passport. Then second will be your 6 months updated bank statement. So whenever we are applying your case, it should be updated up to 1 day prior. So if you are applying it today till yesterday, the account should be updated. The updated bank statement should have money which should cover your tour cost. So like your tour cost is 150 and two people are traveling, husband and wife, then the account should show a minimum balance of around 3.5 lakh rupees. Third is your 3 years of income tax returns. So if you're not filing the returns, then there has to be a declaration given by the applicant. What is the reason of not filing the returns? That is the third thing. Fourth is your employment proof. If you are employed, if you're salaried, then your salary slips are required and your company letter, your company ID card is required. If you are retired, then like I said, your retirement proof is required. Whatever it is, if you do not have a retirement proof, again a self declaration is required. If you are into business, your GST details, your MOA. If it's a partnership firm, then the partnership NOC is required. If it's a proprietor firm, then only the GST records, GST papers of the firm is required. And along with that, the company 3 years income tax returns and the company 6 months bank statements are also required in case it's a business person. And if it is a housewife, then they can provide the documents of the husband who will be sponsoring the trips. If son is sponsoring the trip, the son's ITR, son's bank statement will be required. Along with all of these documents, your financial, documents, like if you have any other investments, like you have FDs or you have some mutual funds or you have invested in some shares, all those documents will be required. A copy of those documents will be required. One more important thing, people who are salaried and who are working for a private or government organization, no objection certificate or the leave letter is mandatory for Turkey. And the leave letter cannot be obtained as an online letter. It has to be on a hard copy, which has to be sealed and signed by the HR. This is one of the mandatory requirements which the consulate doesn't really, they will not waive this off as a requirement. So this is a very important requirement for Turkey.
I have one more
The,
question.
yes,
Regarding
sir.
the American visa, if it is that is there in the old passport, and now
That is fine, sir. No
that
problem.
both okay, that is fine. The
Yeah,
second
you have to
second
carry
question
both
is
of these.
why do we
Yeah.
have to give all bank deposits and all? The statement if it covers your cost and
Yeah,
balance is there. Why do
yeah.
we have to give your investment in shares and all? Do we have
So
to
this,
declare the wealth for this?
so see,
Everywhere.
any European
God,
country, for
nonsense.
them
But
to
only the
honor.
requirement is whether you are good enough to support your trip or not. Why do you have to
No,
give your investment and
sir, it
I'm
is a
just asking.
requirement
Maybe
from
I don't
the
know.
consulate for these countries. So we submit it, sir. I know these rules are very
All your
weird.
wealth. Suppose you,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, there is a question from a senior citizen asking if
Yes.
they have a low savings bank account, but a lot of FDs. Is that fine? Savings bank account will cover the cost of the trip.
Yeah, so
Is
if
that
savings
fine?
bank account is covering the cost of the trip, okay. If it is not covering the cost of the trip, they'll have to break a FD and put it in the account and give a declaration that they have broken an FD to utilize it for the trip.
Okay. Okay.
Michelle has got a question.
Hello.
Hello. No, my questions were answered. There was one thing on the landlord. If you're a landlord, you have to give, if you're already filing your IT returns, why do you need
everything is
a
there.
rental agreement?
Yes, ma'am. For landlord, the rental agreements, because that is your source of income.
Also, if you're filing your returns?
Yes, ma'am. Income tax returns is mandatory. Rental agreements, because that will declare your amount, that has to match with your ITR and bank statement. So they check it very closely, and hence they ask for these documents. And apart from that, if you have any investments, that is an add-on this thing. And if you have sold or purchased a property, property papers are required.
Ma'am, my
This is
name
all
is Frank
requirement by
Coelho.
petition basis.
Ma'am, my name is Frank Coelho. I'm a senior citizen.
Yes,
My
sir.
wife and I are both senior citizens. Hence, we've got an American visa.
Yes, sir.
What else is required from us?
So nothing, your passport, we will be, if you are in Bangalore, we'll take your passport because we would want to check the passport, your US visa, and there is a cover letter which our visa team, whoever will be the single point of contact, they will make the cover letter after checking with you, and that cover letter has to be uploaded. That's it.
Okay.
That's all, isn't it? Nothing more than that.
Nothing more than that,
No
sir.
income tax returns.
No, sir, nothing.
We don't require all that.
No, sir.
No. So this is only what is required.
Yes.
Give you my passport, my visa, which is endorsed on my passport.
Yes.
The US visa for both my wife and myself.
Yes, yes, sir.
And that's all is required. And anything else is required from our side?
No, sir, nothing else. If you're holding a valid US visa, valid Schengen visa, valid Irish visa,
No,
then
Schengen
not
visa
required.
we don't have, it's not valid.
Yeah, so either of these three.
US visas are enough. Right.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, one more question,
Thank you very
Monica,
much.
Yes, ma'am.
from another citizen, from another member. They want to know regarding the dollar component. Should it
Yes.
be from the, suppose it's a housewife and the person who is paying for that for the lady, should the dollar component come from her account or can he pay it? They want to know that. I mean,
Ma'am,
what's
as per the RBI guidelines for a foreign tour, the dollar component, whatever is the foreign part of the currency of the tour, has to come from the traveler's account. The only exceptions that they allow is husband to wife, wife to husband, son to father, mother, or father, mother to son. That's the only exception that is allowed. No other relatives can pay on anyone's behalf for the foreign component of the tour.
Okay.
What about this son for this mother?
Yeah, son for mother is okay, ma'am.
Okay. And Nicole has got a question now.
Ma'am, what is the cost of the fare for a couple?
Sorry, sir?
What is the fare up and down for a couple, husband and wife?
Sir, those details have already been circulated.
In the itinerary.
It's already been circulated.
Yes, sir. The cost, the detailed cost, and all of it has been sent.
Approximately, what is it? Can I ask you? Can you give me an answer for that?
Yeah.
Around 3 lakhs per couple.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
3 lakhs.
Anup, I have a question for you on twin sharing. We're going to be a group of 40, maybe 45 people. So what's the policy on twin sharing?
Twin sharing is like this. Every person that we have, the rates that we have given is on twin sharing basis. Okay. If anybody wants to stay single, then the rate changes. But within the team, if anybody is sharing a room with someone, it's allowed. Like you have two people who want to, you have two people known to each other and they're okay, or members who are not able to have another person with them, they can share the room together. They become like a twin sharing. But the cost that we have given is for a twin sharing room. Okay. If anybody wants a single room, then the cost differs, sir.
Anup, what about 3 in a room? Some families will be traveling, a husband, wife, and a son or a daughter.
So there we'll have to organize a third bed for them. Okay, the triple sharing, the cost remains the same. Okay, we need to organize another bed for them.
So are the rooms big enough for a triple sharing? Like, my daughter is traveling with us. So how does that work?
Yeah, the rooms are big enough, ma'am, for a triple sharing.
You can share with somebody else.
Anup, one more question.
But the only thing is, the third is normally not a bed. Okay, the third always will be a roll-away bed. We call it. I mean, just for your information, because the bed is only 2 beds. Either it's a twin bed or it's a single one big bed. So the third person sleeps on a roll-away bed. Okay, it's called as a roll-away bed. It's like an extra bed that is kept over there. Okay, so just for your information, that's how it is done.
Extra mattress will be provided, I think.
Mattress and yeah, that's like a proper, I mean, like not like a same type of a bed. It's a roll away, which is like a
Yeah.
foldable bed.
Foldable, yeah.
Anup, one more clarification. We had spoken about all dinners to be in the hotels where we are going to stay for the night, but that has not come. That clarification has not been received yet.
So the clarification has always been, like actually we told before also, Istanbul, we have not right now got any information on that, but the other cities, all the hotels, all the dinners in the same hotels.
Great.
Only Istanbul, we have, even right from the beginning, that was the thing, because Istanbul hotel is different. So, we don't have a contract on that, but we are trying to work something out there. But the other hotels, all the dinners are in the same hotel where you are staying.
Okay.
Any other question?
See, actually, just for all the members also, the trip is priced very well. And what happens is here, it's the like-minded group which travels together. Okay, it's more a lot of fun because everything is taken care in a group. Right from the time you start and the time you come back, there is a support and help, which is given. And especially, you have a tour manager who is there to make sure things are organized for you. Your meals, your sightseeing, everything gets taken care. So that's the biggest advantage when you travel in a group. Naturally, not one advantage is your pricing. The second advantage is that everybody is, everything is taken care. You don't have to decide what tomorrow you can do or you cannot do. Everything has been pre-planned and it goes as per that. So, it's much fun because everybody who's traveling together is like one big group, and you're not traveling with people whom you don't know mostly. It's always the people whom you know, because in this particular group, it's all the Canada Catholic Association members who are traveling, or a Mangalorean community people who are traveling on that, and they know each other mostly. I'm sure 90-95% people all know each other. So it's much more fun when they travel on a group like this. And otherwise, we normally do groups for Turkey, but you'll have people from all over India traveling. You don't know them. You need to try to know them and then, get along and things like that. So all those issues are not there. And the pricing is very good. I mean, a lot of deliberations have happened on the pricing. The whole KCA team knows, and the pricing is extremely good. So it makes a lot of sense to travel in a group like this.
So, Anup, I just want to ask one last question about the documentation. Now, it's like we have got the weekend as well as Monday is a holiday. So can the people
three holidays?
I'm sorry, when can the people?
Yeah, submit their documentation.
So documentation, they could still submit a little later. But what we would require is people coming forward and starting to give the deposit and confirm their travel, because confirming their travel would be the first part of it. So that is something that we require. I think the date we have given is 17th, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Monica?
So that is for the documentation, because we wanted, because when we give a date for 17th, it will still stretch to a couple of days. And then from our end also, we have to do a lot of things once the document starts coming in. But ma'am, yes, like Anup sir said, that is still secondary. The primary thing will be, because our tour is dated 30th September, we would want to have the name of the people who are, joining the tour, so that we can start with the blocking process. Right now, everything is open.
Yeah, but how the deposit could be made? Through Google payment or bank transfer? It will take 1 or 2 days to your new account.
No, sir. If you are okay with Google Pay, we can generate a link of Google Pay and we can send it to your email ID. You can pay through that. That facility is available, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would want the name of the passenger list who all are joining this tour, along with the passport copies, PAN card copies, and the first set of payment. We would want to finish it by ma'am, maybe
when the payment by 17th, the payment need to be done.
Yes, because 15th is a holiday.
Passport and all, do we have to upload or to be given somewhere?
So you can start posting the passport and PAN card either individually to anyone of our team members, or you can put it on the group, or you can email it to us. We'll provide our email IDs. And the payment bank details are already given. So maybe this 15th August goes off 16th, we can start doing it.
No, that is the bank detail. That you have to be, it will take 1 or 2 days to, 24 hours. But Google Pay link you are not sent.
Google Pay link, sir, it has to be created real time and sent. I cannot send it for a longer validity. I can create it for some time. So, sure, whenever that name list is ready and when people are okay, I can start sending those. That's not an issue, sir.
So is this open only to KCA members?
Sorry, sir?
Is this only open to KCA members, Hilma?
Edgar, this is
Yeah.
first preference to the KCA members.
Okay. Okay.
Just and the first come first serve basis.
Okay.
And if at all we don't get the numbers,
yeah.
then maybe we can accommodate our relatives or something like that to make good the
Fine.
number. That
Okay.
is 245. And two of our from Thomas Cook will also be traveling with us.
Okay.
So it is 43.
43. Okay.
Yes.
And
Am I right, Anup?
Thomas Cook tour manager will be traveling, so I think it's only one. But
One. So
yeah.
44.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once you're confirmed, we are going to open a group, and then accordingly we will handle it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Any other question?
Yeah.
All right.
I want to add
Whoever. Yeah, Jane.
I add that we have already touched 30. So whoever wants to please send a message to the number that they have on that group so that they can confirm their seat.
That is the KCA number which is provided to you. Please text on that number for your
So
confirmation.
you've already got 30 people now.
We have 30 already.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So I think we are done with it.
May I know how many more people could you take on besides the 30 you already have?
Another 14.
Another 14.
Yes.
Maximum.
Frank, what we'll be doing is we will put it on the list. If they cross that 43, then they'll be on the wait list. If somebody drops out, then the next person comes in. So if the names are there, then we can put them on the first list.
You're not all.
Jane,
The voice is
there
breaking.
won't be a wait list. Whoever pays is in. You have to pay that 50,000 to Thomas Cook to register your name. We
And
can't
that's the
have a wait list
confirmation.
for people. Yeah, that is the confirmation. That
Yes.
will be the final list. Whoever pays 50,000 has his foot in the door.
Yeah.
And Edgar, if you have somebody who's not a KCA member, then go ahead and make them a KCA member. That'll be easier.
You have
Of
to
course,
make
they
them
need to be a Mangalorean.
I have to make them a Mangalorean first.
We'll
Yes.
baptize them on the trip.
100%, Edgar. Edgar, 100%.
Okay. No problem.
So, okay.
Okay.
I think we are all very clear about all this. Thanks, Anup and
Thank you.
Monica, and also Sweeten DeMello
Thank you, ma'am.
for all
Thanks,
your,
Sweeten.
yeah.
Just to add, I think
And thanks.
so
Yeah.
just to add that what Sweeten said, I think seeing is believing in Turkey. Turkey is very westernized and a very beautiful place to go to. Right now, Turkey is absolutely full with the travel that is happening.
Okay. So we're just
Ma'am,
looking,
I had a
we
question.
look forward to it. Yeah, tell me.
I had a question, ma'am. Can we expect the final guest list to come in by the Tuesday 16th, ma'am?
Give us 17th, Monica. 16th is,
17th. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll try our best and get. And make sure you'll give your confirmation by giving your deposit of 50K. Am I
I
right,
think
Monica?
there was a question also about credit card payment. Monica, you would like to answer? If somebody can do
Yes,
a
sir. You can make the payment through credit card, debit card, but there are bank charges, which is, for credit cards, it is, I guess, 2.8 or 3%, depending on the bank. And on a debit card, again, I think there is 2.1 or some charges that the bank charges. So you may get that. We get a payment of 50,000, but your bank may charge you that 3,000 because that's a payment getaway. Charges can't help in that. So that mode of payment is possible.
Thanks.
And ma'am, you were asking
Yeah.
about that 50,000.
Yeah.
So for me, if I get the name list also on 16th and I get the payments by 17th, that is also fine. I just want to start with the blocking process actually, and for that I need the name list. So we open after the long weekend on Tuesday. So if I can get the list by then, or maybe even a Monday, that holds good for me. I will start the blocking, and then people can start paying, and we can complete the payment process by 17th.
Okay. All right, Monica. We'll try our best to do it by the 17th. Okay.
Sure, ma'am.
And
Sure, ma'am.
moreover, since all of you all have been here at the meeting today, make sure you'll make the payment and give a confirmation to Jane so that we open a new group